there is not necessarily a hype train for a Televote winner this year. So what is your take on that?
I completely agree. I do not foresee so far a big Televote winner unless it's Sweden. The last 2 years we've obviously seen that there has been a big jury favourite, and look, it makes sense because you've got the semi-finals where it is going to prioritise artists that are a telemagnet. Someone like Estonia, may not have even made it through semi-final one because the juries can bring it down. The Televote doesn't have that ability, whereas the jury will be able to drag someone like Estonia down in the final. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do believe that's true. Like, people are all speaking about Sweden. I do not believe Sweden will win the televote, especially because I talk to a lot of casual viewers. But of course, it's not that representative because I am from Switzerland, so I ask around my circles in Zurich and stuff, and people were like, "What? This is like the first in the arts." So I love Kai, I love Barabadabastu, but I do not believe it's a worthy televote winner or winner for that. I do strongly believe that the televote will go to other places, maybe, and for the win, if you ask me, I do believe it's between Finland and maybe by an incredible luck, maybe Switzerland, but it will be more because of the juries and just because it gets enough point of the televote, because we saw last year that Nemo was like 5th with the televote, so and it sufficed, and until then we always believed like place 1 and 2 are you have to be on the top 3 of the televote to win, which apparently is not true.
They're called Kai. They have a song called Barabadabastu, if you heard of it. There's definitely a hype train for a televote winner. Kai are going to score, put a 3 in front of a number. It'll be something like that. They're going to win the televote by a distance.
I mean, I would not really agree with that, to be honest, because I mean there is already quite a high group with Kai for Sweden, obviously. I think they are by far and away the most televote friendly song out of all of them. I mean, Finland does stand a chance of maybe sucking up some of those votes, but yeah, I think for me, I mean, it's fairly obvious that Kai are probably going to walk the televote, so it's just a case of, well, whenever that actually happens, to be honest.
I would say it is a mix of many. I don't see Sweden as a potential, clearly fan favorite. Especially when I talk to people in press center, we are from all over the Europe. Sweden maybe is the closest to be the favorite, but I think the points will be very close by this year. So I think there will be minimal difference in the jury votes and the televotes also.
I think Sweden is comfortably winning the televote this year. I mean, we've sort of crunched some numbers overnight from Spotify streams and all sorts of other things, and they've pretty much eclipsed everyone else. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just huge, and perhaps we're all overthinking it, right? Yeah. For instance, going back to 2018, for instance, in the lead up to the competition, everyone was like, toy, hype. We love dance, whatever. It's a dance track, whatever. And then once we got to the contest, we all overthought it a lot. And we're like, oh, no, we don't think we can do it. And then it just won. And I feel like Sweden has that feeling this year where it's this huge favourite. Everyone's now worried about it. And then it's just going to win anyway.
Not that much. I remember last year there was much more dancing. It was much more of a party here during the live shows and even during the jury shows. This time it's much less strong. Those that have the most movement and dancing are those with strong national representation in the press center. So the Greeks, the Spanish, because the Greek is not very dancey, but not that much. Even Sweden did not get so much people up. I think the most we had was San Marino, but that should not translate as a big televote appeal. I think it's just a good party song for us. But yeah, it's much calmer this year.
Yes, I think there's a few countries this year that are definitely, being kind of loved by the press this year. But I think one in particular, I would have to say Albania. I feel like everyone has a real soft spot for Albania. Even if you don't really like the song, the performance is something special. I feel like it's going to do very well on the night, and the press really do love it. And at least that's what, from what I've seen, that's what I've seen. I'd definitely say Albania.
Yeah, it's really interesting in the press room. There's not, like last year, it was very clear, there's a hype train behind Croatia. The year before, it was Finland. Around here in the press centre now, there are various countries that people are saying, oh, this could win, or this is going to do well in the Televote. Sweden comes up, of course, as a favourite in the Televote, but there's not a big push for everyone to, support Sweden. Finland is starting to be talked about more now that the semi-final 2 is out. Beyond that, there's a lot. I think the only country that unites the press centre is Albania. And it's not even to win the competition. This is an Ireland 2024 scenario where people just want Albania to get the best result it can.
I think we definitely have our standouts. Televote are friendly ones. I think that like Kai, Tommy Cash, they're ones that could really get up there in the final and score big. But then on the other hand, in the past we've had jury winners that have gone on to take it and gain a more convincing lead. So it is really going to be interesting to see whether we get that televote winner this year or whether it's still going to be the jury winner that is remaining at the top. But if one thing's for certain, it is going to be such an exciting voting sequence on Saturday night. I can't wait for it.
Yeah.